Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, everybody. Episode 323 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's sailing the sea again with me tonight?
Hey, everybody. It's Kenneth, Sanity, and may the Father of Understanding guide us all.
And from the YouTube channel Rich Kale and various fanfiction sites, this is Richard Sampson, and I want to tell you, grief can have an effect on people.
That is for sure. And we are here to talk about Assassin's Creed Rogue, developed by Ubisoft Sofia, published by Ubisoft, and came out in 2014. We are continuing our Assassin's Creed journey. This is the last one that I have ever played, so from now on, the ones we play will be new for me, and I am so excited for that.
Yep, he's going into he's going to go into it semi-blind.
Yeah, it'll be nice, because, I had played all these before. I had played Rogue not when it came out, because I was going through a really bad time, so I didn't touch this game until years later. It was, I want to say, about a year before this podcast started, so 2018, not many years later, but I got into this, and I started, and I ended up playing this, and I ended up loving this game. I mean, I have a famous memory of this where I was stupid, where my wife had extra tickets to Boys to Men because some of her friends canceled, and I was like, I don't want to go. I want to stay home and play Assassin's Creed Rogue. I regret that decision, for the record. But it was at a time where I didn't play video games as much if she was around, only when she was sleeping. So I was like, well, I want to play my game, and so I'll just drop you off at the casino. You go have fun with your friends, and I'm going to go play my game. So that's my memory. That's one thing that sticks with me about this game. Unfortunately, one of my dumber jokes she brings up, by the way, every so often. So. And Ken, what about you? What's your history with this game?
My history was, like all Assassin's Creed games, I had to buy this one first day, which I did way back when GameStop used to do midnight releases. The one by me had one for this game, which kind of surprising.
That's very surprising.
But I was excited about the idea of this game, and it turns out I was right. This game is awesome. Or at least it was to me then.
Oh. And Rich.
This is my first time playing it, But I must admit that this was a nice, fun one to play. I mean, it's very novel too when you consider the previous ones. But yeah,
well, this is very much just like a continuation of what they already had going, because they didn't do anything new for this game, because this was the game that Unity comes out at the same time that Rogue comes out. So this is for those that hadn't jumped to the newest gen, here's a game for you type of thing, which I like that they did that. Yeah. And I like that this game just followed the same kind of formula as 4, but drastically improved it.
Which also shows that Ubisoft wasn't necessarily thinking of mass marketing. I mean, let's face it, when Twilight Princess came out, they released it on both GameCube and Wii, so they could have done that with this one.
Yeah. Well, something interesting about this one is this was the last one that was released on PS4. From Unity forward, everything, or on PS3, rather. This was the last PS3 Assassin's Creed. Because Unity forward, everything is PlayStation 4 only. So this was the PS3's last Assassin's Creed. And that's how I first played it. Got my PS3 copy. I can see it right now. And I got this and Unity at the same time.
Okay.
And it's really cool the way that they did release both of these at the same time. Because if you were smart and played Rogue first, it was really cool.
And if you played the other one first, it was really dumb, huh?
It was still cool, but it was cooler. Okay, we're going to spoil this, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, that's what we do here.
Let's face it, if you don't have it spoiled by now, I mean, where are you living under a rock?
I mean, you could have this game skipped.
It's been 11 years.
I don't care. It's what we do here.
Yeah, it's been 11 years. But the fact that Rogue immediately sets up Unity in its last scene is pretty fantastic.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because, I haven't played Unity in a while, but if memory serves correctly, I think Unity starts with that scene from a different viewpoint.
Ah!
Oh, that is cool.
And now I really have to get it installed.
You got a bit before we get to Unity, but all right, because I knew a little bit, because, well, as much as I haven't played Unity, I'm aware of the main character's name, Arno, because I live on the internet and I read stuff all the damn time. So, like, at the very end of this, when you hear him say Arno, like, I know who we just killed.
You gotta read more, Mike. I mean, I'm reading a nice little book right now. It's about this Italian man who's going through a story where he must get revenge for some damn conspiracy killing his family.
But I feel like one thing about Rogue that I think that one thing it does very differently that I want to say first is that, like, you start off this game as an assassin, but as the name kind of implies, you end up becoming a Templar because you don't like what the assassins are doing. And I think that's a good, like, this game makes 3 even better. I mean, I remember not liking 3, then I remember liking 3 for our podcast, but, like, this game helps make things about 3 even better because this shows you why there are almost no assassins at the homestead when you play 3, which takes place, I think, 10 years after the end of this game? Or after the end of the main part of this game, I want to say. Something like that. Or 10 or 15.
I mean, I think you could, if you take time to sit on that opening screen, it's a neat way because you could tell that the assassin symbol has fractures in it, but then when it rotates and becomes the Templar cross, that's sort of, so it could give you an idea what's coming.
Like there was a period of time when I had actually considered getting that broken assassin symbol as a tattoo because I liked this game so much. I never did.
You have tattoos, don't you, I assume?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, God, yes.
Okay. I figured. No, it's a cool tattoo. That would be a cool tattoo to have, because that is a cool symbol. And, man, I want a tattoo, but I'm too much of a chicken shit. But one day I need to get off my ass and get a tattoo of Link.
Just don't get on your ass.
It won't be on my ass or my arm.
No, that would be, if it wasn't such a dynamic image, I would think that would, in my opinion, make a nice tattoo. But let's face it, the coolness of it is just the fact that it rotates and it does like some of these art displays do. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those actually inspired that idea. You know, where you look at it from one angle.
I wouldn't be terribly surprised.
No, nor would your cat.
I have no problem with the cat voicing their opinion.
Oh, hey, I actually amplify kitties' voices on these podcasts now. When cats meow, I amplify it so people can hear what the cats want to have to say. Hey, maybe somebody out there speaks cats. You never know. I wish I did. I wish I could talk to my cats, even though I know sometimes it would just be, feed me, you asshole. But, you know, that's cats. Yeah. So, I mean, like, I have voiced my opinion many times on the show about I don't like sailing. I still don't like sailing, but at least this game didn't make it too hard, like with the battles. Like, I know there was at least a legendary ship because I found one, and then I sailed immediately as far away as I could from it and did not engage, but I found it.
Oh yeah, there's actually technically, there are 4 battles. I think I did 3 of them. 4th one was just too difficult for me.
Was that the one with the 2 ships?
The Storm Fortress.
Yeah, there's one with 2 ships, and I accidentally ran into that fairly early in the game, and oof.
I skipped all ship combat that I could in this game. I didn't really fight anybody unless the game made me. I didn't stop random ships. I wanted nothing to do with the ship combat in this game where I could. I'm tired of it. I don't like it. Like, it's very good. I don't want to act like, oh, it's bad. No, it is good in this game. They got it down. They did a good job with it. They made it entertaining. It is not for Mike. That is the problem.
Yeah, this was one of those times. This combat was a lot easier than in Black Flag.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not to say it was completely bad or not enjoyable. I mean, the battles went a little bit easier in some cases. You didn't have to necessarily worry about always getting a flag or anything to take down a ship. And you could also pull off finishing the ship off before even getting close enough. You weren't necessarily limited with how many times you can fire that gun before you're close enough to actually make it over to the ship.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. I mean, I boarded. I mean, when I did have to board ships a few times, it was much easier than, like, 4 had a couple really annoying things, and I'm glad they didn't bring that back.
Yeah, I think they learned their lessons on that.
I was okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, it plays a lot like 4. I mean, you have, but where you sail is you go to, so you only have one real city. You go to New York, which, man, do I kind of miss an Assassin's Creed just running around a city. I'm looking forward.
Well,
to
you're in luck.
I know. And I'm excited for that. Like, I realize that, like, I miss this. Like, I'm tired of just sailing from island to island and climbing up towers, and I'm also tired of trees. I really don't like trees in Assassin's Creed.
At least in this one, there was not much climbing trees to get viewpoints.
No.
Yeah, but there was enough. It's weird. This took like parts of 4, parts of 3, combine them both into one game that kind of plays like 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like to the point where 3 seems a step back, even though it takes place after this.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's face it, when you talk about games taking a step back, feels like a game takes a step back. Look at how other game franchises. Oh, in this game, which is set before, this game character can do this. This game, the character can now do this. Now they can do this in this game. Oh, see this section in this game? Yeah, it's set before all three of those. Son of a bitch.
I know, but that's just gaming in general. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different characters, so it works. You can just think other people had different abilities, or other people didn't know how to do something. Like you can justify it if your brain needs you to.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it. It didn't bother me. I didn't even think about it. I mean, it did play very nicely. Like the climbing was nice. I didn't have too many issues of him jumping off shit he shouldn't be. I didn't get too frustrated with anything in that aspect of it. Even the sailing was much smoother than previous games too.
And you have to admit that while you go in not knowing, thinking Shay is very brash and very full
of himself.
Full of himself, reckless. Actually, as the story progresses, you sort of gain he's a little bit more with it in things than other characters. But for at least one of them, you can understand that he has a reasonable excuse for being so damn stupid with things. And I can entirely forgive him for that.
Well, I mean, it's tough with this one. It's tough with all the games because they're all essentially unreliable narrators.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like, memory is not accurate, ever. And we have to consider the fact that this one also has the Abstergo Entertainment logo when you put the game in. So you have to assume that this is being sanitized by the Templars.
Yeah.
So, of course, the overheated, blunt object of the assassin Shay Cormac, once you join the Templars, is absolutely going to become his best self. And it's, you got to kind of take that you're not getting the full story any game you play.
Yeah.
You're just not. But I do like Shay a lot. He's fun.
Yeah, there's a lovableness to the character.
He works well for this. He's a decent character. He has a very good arc of going from being why he leaves the Assassins because so the whole thing is he's sent on a couple missions, but the main mission is he's sent to get this artifact, which they think they're looking for stuff of the apple, which we know very well at this point what that is, and they end up like toppling towns for some reason because these artifacts affect towns, and because they end up, is it Portugal, Lisbon that they destroy?
Lisbon, yeah.
And then because of that, and he's in, because of him, because he grabbed the artifact, he's like, this is crazy. Like we're messing up. Achilles doesn't realize what he's doing, and then when he tries to stop them and they try to murder him, it makes sense why he changes allegiance.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Like they tried to kill him, and he thought his best friend shot him in the back. I do like it when you find out it's the guy that he gets into a fight with in the beginning of this game that shot him in the back.
Nah, it was that dick.
Yeah,
I don't
it felt good to kill him.
It did, but I don't know. There's just going through the assassins in this one is kind of anticlimactic because every time you kill one of your former teammates, they're a distraction for somebody else.
Fair.
It makes sense to a degree. I mean, if you know this is a prime example of learning your enemy, to know your enemy, You have to become your enemy. I mean, they know he's now with the Templars. He is trained as an assassin. They know who he's going to target first.
Yeah, and they do know that like old rivalries and old hardships will come to fruition first. Yeah.
So he's, he makes a good distraction. And I have to admit that some of his foes, at least one of them, well, two of them actually, when you think about it, they don't fault him for doing what he did. They expect nothing more from him. And in some ways, he does show respect because he also realizes that a good part of this is they are following a fool's errand. And after seeing what maybe happened to Shay, if they had any doubts about, the truth, about going against him, going against Achilles, well, it's an understandable, we don't want this to happen to us.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have been, we need you, hoping Achilles would wise up in the end, which, hey, surprise, surprise, he does.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda.
I mean, he wises up by the idea of he's forced to because he has no other option because you killed all his students and essentially took away his leg.
Well, no, actually, he realizes it just before they're about to touch it, or just as they approach it.
Yes, but that's a little too late.
Not entirely.
Too late for Shay.
No, too late for Liam.
Oh, because Liam still wants to do it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, Liam's the one who bumps into it and knocks it off, which is the most bullshit thing. Like, oops, whoopsie doodle.
Oh,
come on
yeah,
now.
we know everybody does that.
I did it again. I bumped into the rock and killed everybody. Like that?
At least this one didn't cause a lot of damage. That last one.
Yeah. I mean, it was just Rock and Liam. And, if we're being honest, fuck Liam.
Yeah.
They're all kind of... I mean, I like it that this game introduces where you run into Liam, Hope, Kurgasawi, is that how you pronounce his name? I know I'm butchering it. The Native American guy.
Yeah.
Who you have to kill. And I did like that they had a Native American assassin, though. I thought that was good.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was really good. I thought the game...
Somewhat of a dick thing that he did that to another tribe of Native Americans.
Yeah, that was a little... Yeah.
But then again, not all the Native American tribes were friendly with one another.
No, they were fighting each other, too.
So. Yeah, so, you can't necessarily say, oh, well, that was a dick move. Oh, wait.
It still was a dick move, just because. Yeah. But anytime you're taking civilians and tying up women and killing people, you're a dick. So.
Of course, definitely.
But I do like how, they introduce them early in the game, and then later on in the game, you gotta go kill them. Like, I mean, it's fun stuff for that aspect of it. Like, it makes sense, obviously. And it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, well, again, and it shows the opposite look, which is what I like. Get to see things from the other side.
The only game to have done it so far.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if they'll go back to it. I'm assuming not.
It'd be nice. It'd be real nice.
I mean, otherwise...
It is nice to see stuff from the Templar side to get more of that understanding, to understand your enemy type thing. I think the game does benefit from that.
Yeah. I think it does too. I mean, it's one of those, we have a situation where, we're always getting told the Templars, the last time we saw anything from the Templar side was Assassin's Creed 3 when we start the game playing as Haymitch.
Mm-hmm.
But
that was
we
a bit
don't
ago.
know. Yeah, but we don't know we're actually playing the Templar side.
Yeah, because, well, no, like, I was going to say something, but no, that doesn't make any sense because that was 3 and his dad didn't come along until 4. So
yeah, because Kenway's in 4. Yeah,
and then 4. You have to admit that from 4, Kenway is never not Kenway. Yeah, Kenway. Yeah,
Kenway.
Yeah,
Kenway's not an assassin to start with. He's a pirate who becomes an assassin,
who poses as a turncoat assassin and then becomes an assassin.
Yeah, and then ends up. But he's not really, he becomes an assassin, but he's not still, completely, I think, in the fold. But maybe he is later on in his adult life that we don't see. I mean, I'm sure there's other stuff that goes along with him, but his son ends up becoming, terrible, so.
Yeah, from the outside literature, yeah. But it's a beautiful, this time we're playing as the assassin who does go turncoat. But, again, you can't fault him. I mean, let's face it. Breaking the creed. This was a thing. He broke involuntarily broke the creed, harming no innocents. which is the important thing.
I mean, they broke a lot of things in this.
Yeah.
I did find it funny that the French are the villains in this, and the red, like, first it starts out the redcoats are your enemy, but then as the game progresses, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
And after playing 3 and being an American, it's just funny that, in this time that the British are not your enemy, because in so many games that, you will play the British and think of Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed 4, like, the British are the enemy, and I'm like, oh, this is odd.
No.
Yeah, the Royal Navy actually saves your ass a couple times.
Yeah.
I also forget how good the fucking British military is in history at this time, because like I watched a big, I've mentioned it multiple times, but I watched a bunch of documentary about Napoleon, and like he was beating everybody on land, but when it came to the British Navy, he fucking got his ass handed to him every single time.
Yeah.
He confronted them. Like they were something else at this, in this era of history. So I think it's cool that it kind of fits that too. And they're fucking everywhere because that was the British.
Yeah. But that's, how it is. It's like it's the perfect example of you are changing enemies as you are playing through the game. And even though they try and show you, well, they are, it's like the color coding was like, well, they are enemies, but they might not necessarily attack you right away. I mean, if you're, as a Templar, yeah, you're going to attack a soldier. He's going to attack you. If you look suspicious, he's going to attack you. But then you got these other guys that's, hey, I know him. He's turncoat. Kill him. It's like their ally. It's like you have your enemies who will attack you right out, and you have your enemies who they'll leave you be until you show your aggression. And I must admit, that is something I also liked about this game. Annoying sometimes, but I liked it.
I mean, you do kill French soldiers, you kill British soldiers too, depending on what you're doing. I mean, I think it's interesting that like all the bandits in quotations are the assassins when you're like in New York and stuff, and I found that interesting. But also, are they really the bad guys in this? Because the British are, the colonies are getting very close to Revolutionary War, not that far away from this point.
Yeah.
Forget what year we're in this game. I know we're during the 7-Year War, which is British and French. And the Revolutionary War is not that long after that. I don't want to look up stuff and I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know it's all very close together. Is the 7-Year War the French and Indian War, or is that another war?
That's a good question. I can't necessarily fully remember.
Humans like to fight a lot, by the way. History, did you guys know that? Humans like to fight a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the French and Indian War when it was happening in North America.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to remember where that...
I do like that Hatham shows up later in this game, that you find out, he's the Grand Master of the Templars, but he looks younger too, because, he has to. Like, I do like all that. I think all that is well done to have him here. This game is also I was never bored. Like, I wasn't personally.
No.
There is always so much to do in this game.
Oh, yeah.
An almost ridiculous amount of things to do in this game.
Yeah.
Fair. But it's a Ubisoft open world game. I mean, that's kind of how it works, right? At this point?
Yeah.
I think this was one of the last that wasn't like completely ridiculous with it. Like Unity gets a little ridiculous. Syndicate definitely gets a little ridiculous. Don't even get me started on Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. Because those are absolutely ridiculous.
That's a different genre of games, though, too.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, that's when you're getting into open world action RPGs. Like, I've never played any of those, but I've seen enough stuff that I know what they are.
I'm looking forward to those, to be honest.
Me too. I'm looking forward to all of this. I'm so excited to finally have newer games to play in this series where it's a brand new experience and not just a replay.
It's all been a brand new experience for me. And
I'm happy for that.
And it makes a very good story. I mean, let's face it. He starts out, he's learning the ways of the assassin. He's proving to be an assassin. He's got a ship, which after he's assumed dead, Luke has to regain. We have a lot of, it's not as big and major exploration as Black Flag was. You get to look around. You can find some interesting stuff. I mean, but the key thing is, and it's something that I think was mentioned in Black Flag, the Voynich manuscripts, which leads them to these temples. But, what we have is, let's see, if you go by what you're told, Achilles, who is now suffering, because of the death of his wife and child. He sort of goes all in on wanting to find, quote, artifact pieces of Eden and keeping them out of the Templar hands, which he thinks that these Voynich manuscripts lead to, not realizing what they are leading to. And it's kind of hard to go by what's going on. I mean, a disaster happened in Havana or Jamaica, but we don't know what exactly the disaster was because the person who went in did not get out. Lee Che is the first one to get into one of these places and get out, and he sees what it actually is doing. While he is not entirely on board with what these places actually are, we do know that we can say they are precursor sites, and it's going to cause a lot of damage by disrupting things. So, what does he do? What does he do when he manages to get out and he relays this, but no one wants to, believe him? I mean, we're clouded. We sense by duty we got to do this so that the Templars don't get such a stronghold in the new colonies or over in this part of the world. And it leads to a blindness, which is fueled by Achilles' grief, I think.
Yeah, because he lost his son and his wife. They never say how, do they, in this?
I think it was sickness.
Yeah, there was a lot of that anyway back then, so
yeah,
we're going back on that road again, but so.
And sadly, I can tell you from personal experience what that kind of grief can do to a person.
Yeah. I mean, I like Achilles in this. I think he's a good character. I think it's good character growth, the way that he is in this.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is very good growth. You learn more about him. You learn why he has become the person he is in the later game. He's taken time to look back and reflect on his actions. Yes, was I an asshole? Yes, I was an asshole. Can I be better? Yes, I can be better. And I think that fueled with that fact that Connor was Hatham's son, making him Kenway. God damn it, my brain just...
Making Kenway become a Templar?
Basically that...
It seemed like that's where you were going.
Hamas' father, Duncan
MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod.
No, Hatham's father, brain farting, can't remember the guy's name.
Edward,
thank you, Edward. Thank you,
Ken.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you. I mean, he's now seeing a chance for redemption. Yes, Hatham went astray, went away from the Assassin Brotherhood into the Templar Order. But also what we get is, while the Templars are more about control, you also get the feeling they're not necessarily, they're just overzealous in some ways. I mean, you have to keep a balance between order and chaos in life. You can't go strictly one or the other. And the Templars and the Assassins sort of keep each other in check if you think about it.
Yeah, because they do fight each other and don't let one or the other grab complete power.
Except you've got zealots who sort of get in charge and take over.
And that sounds like real life, too.
Let me see here. Brought up the Achilles in here.
And I know you kill one of the Washingtons. You kill Lawrence Washington, who I don't even know who he is from history. I know who George is, but not Lawrence. Yeah. That kind of made me laugh.
George's brother.
Yeah, but I never even... I don't know him at all. He's not a...
I blame
he's not a person from history. System. Yeah. Hey, pretty soon the rate we're going, they're not even going to be allowed to teach any of that,
I mean, he was a person. He was a real person.
No, I know that. I mean, this series is great about that. There's one thing I really do appreciate about Assassin's Creed is how much they fit in, actual people from history, and it's just really, I really like that, because you can learn stuff about history you don't realize just by playing these games. I mean, yes, it's not accurate, but you can find out a person's name and then look it up. I mean, I've done that multiple times in this.
Yeah, I mean, you do get a lot of historical names. Here it is. Okay, found it. Achilles' wife and son died of typhoid fever.
Okay.
I mean, he was already on this search to find this stuff, but it sort of really he dove head first into it more, I think, because he lost his wife and child, and I guess in a way, it was his way of trying to deal with the grief, but he also probably didn't want to admit that he did something, that he was on a wrong path. I mean, he didn't want to think all these lives were his fault.
Yeah, and I think that's very fair. I mean, it's easier to make up reasons to why things are the way they are than to accept that you're the reason why this shit is fucked up right now. I mean, that's a very normal human response, unfortunately.
And when you're dealing with that level of grief, yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, just look at history. Like, you have a lot of time where people make really dumb decisions because they're not thinking straight.
Yep, true right now. So,
No, the story is very good in this game. I mean, it's also, this is a shorter game. This only has 7 chapters, where most Assassin's Creed games have like 12 or 13 sequences, 14 sequences. Like, and I didn't mind that. I was unfortunately a little bit rushed with this game because of sickness and the schedule that I create.
yeah.
So that bummed me a little bit, but those are all personal issues. I can never hold a game accountable for my decisions.
Yeah, it's not your fault you do dumb shit.
Not the game's fault. Not the game. I didn't say it's not my fault.
And we also know how you play games.
I did not do all the eagle points in this game, which is not like me, because I got tired of sailing to islands. I did not do all the fort. I did most. I did get the entire I got the entire river valley, but I didn't finish the entire North Atlantic because I just got tired. I got bored. And I was like, I need to move on.
And that's the thing. That's actually a beautiful thing. This goes back to that the areas you recapture are boosting your economy, your income. I mean, that's something I do like. And I do like that you get to refurbish and fix up buildings too in that. It was a neat little other mechanic. Well, it's like bringing back like the fixing of the aqueducts in Rome.
Yeah. Ken, did you do a lot of the fixing of the buildings in this playthrough?
I started, messing around fully, but time started creeping up and I did have to stop. But I was getting all the treasure maps and I was getting all the blueprints and all the Templar crosses and the Viking swords and all the different fucking collectibles. And it's just, it was so much. And then I was like, oh, I have to beat this game. I gotta hurry up and do this.
Do the Viking swords do anything if you get all of them?
Yeah, you get a Viking sword.
Oh, okay.
I
was trying to get all the Viking swords and I got most, but then I was like, it is Sunday. I need to finish this game.
Yeah.
That was kind of what happened.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's typical for some. At least you played a little bit better than last time than other ones.
No, I tried to do a lot.
Viking armor, my mistake.
Oh, yeah, Viking. Yeah, but that's good stuff.
Also, that kind of like the special armor in this game is from the Viking swords. Then,
well, yes and no.
I think there's some armor you get from the Native Americans too.
Yep, the native armor.
I did one of those pillars. I did not like running around in the jungles. So I just didn't bother. I was like, I don't want to run around here and I don't want to deal with this shit. So I'm just going to.
Well, you see,
I really hated the jungles.
Actually, I like doing those and hunting those down because you get with the Native American with the cave paintings, you get a nice, interesting story, which sort of I think nicely ties into East, like the precursor civilization and explaining how humanity came about.
Oh, I was curious about them. I just couldn't. I don't like running around in jungles as much, especially when I can't, it's hard to, follow a path and I gotta kind of, see what because a lot of the jungle stuff is very much a puzzle type gameplay to me, the way they do it, and I just didn't want any part of it this time.
Gee, it's trying to figure out how to get from point A to point B.
I know. I also was just, again, I was in a rush because I behind on schedule and I'm like, I need to get this done. That played part.
Yeah, you're good at that too.
I am. This one was also because the next game on the schedule is an open world game. And there was one day where I got deathly sick where I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to play this game and I'm going to finish it. And it would have been right on time. And I got deathly ill where all I did was lay on a couch and vomit the whole day. And then after that, I was like, okay, I need to rush through this game now. So that's part of it. I lost a day or two where I was just sick. And with my schedule, I don't have time for that.
Yeah, know that feeling. I do know that feeling.
Oh, I have been sick many times in my life because, I'm human. But woo, that was a sickness, all right. Woo.
It's coming down through both ends.
It was. For those listeners that didn't want to know, now you know. Yes, it was. Same time, too. Great. Fun experience. I got that virus that was going around. Yeah, don't recommend it.
Yeah. But,
I do think it's nice that you have the River Valley, which is a decent environment. Then you also have the North Atlantic, so you have your ice stuff. I do like when you swim in the ice water, you take damage. It fits.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
It does fit. I do find that an interesting thing.
Do the war letters do anything? 'Cause that's one of the other collectibles you can pick up in this game.
I think it's more just background information.
Okay.
I also
didn't
like that they now
bother.
recently added achievements to the game.
Too bad they couldn't, find a way to do that earlier.
I mean, I just started the game up and like, boom, achievements.
Brand new thing.
Would have meant more if it was happening when I was playing it, but I do like, however, that we got a fleet this time. That was a very interesting mechanic, and seeing how it worked, I actually liked how they set that up. It was like reminiscent of the whole sending your assassins out in 3 and Brotherhood and Revelations.
Yeah. Now, did any of you get to the end of that?
I did.
I did not this time. I only had 1 man of war, and that is not enough.
It is if you don't rush in. If you're like, I am overwhelmed, back out, go back in. Oh, this is more manageable. Also, it helps if you have a shitload of fire barrels.
Yeah. It's like toward the end there, toward the third chunk, I start to get like, oh, you got a 3% chance of doing this.
Oh my god.
And that's with a man of war and 2 of the ones right below that, whose name I absolutely do not remember.
That's fine.
Briggs, I think.
Too much. That's too low a percentage. I wouldn't want to fuck around with that either. So I'm with you.
I mean, I do have to get a laugh out of something, though. I mean, if you capture, I captured a few of those bounty hunter ships.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look in my go through, okay, what ship do I want to send? Do I want to send this one? No. Do I want to send this one? No. Do I want to... Wait, did I remember to switch to the next one? Oh, I got 2 of the same ship. Okay.
I didn't mess with that. I didn't want. I tried a little bit. I did it once, and I was kind of like, yeah, I just don't want to deal with this.
Oh, yeah. It was
It was nice that it was here because we missed out on it in 4.
Amen.
Because they disabled it for some reason because it was online based and not in-game based. Like it should have been. Also, isn't the box that you get in this game? Isn't that what Ottaway was doing in the Freedom Cry DLC?
I think that's what it was going after, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do like how there is a conversation on the boat or somewhere where they talk about what happened in Freedom Cry in like a couple sentences, and I just laugh. I'm like, I get that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he died.
I'm glad we did Freedom Cry because it also made that part when you have to kill Ottaway that much more like impactful to me. I'm like, I just played as this guy in a little DLC and now I gotta murder him. I'm like, I don't really want to kill him.
Yeah.
I had a different experience with Freedom Cry, apparently, because I was ready to murder Ottawale.
I didn't like Freedom Cry, but...
I liked it, but, I was ready.
I mean, he was an old man, so...
Yeah. And I'm sure he can sort of respect, well, maybe...
I mean, he's a good assassin. I mean, he was a good assassin when it came to, following the Creed compared to, Kenway. I mean, he was actually an assassin. Kenway was a pirate.
He had respect for Kenway, though.
Yeah.
At least we didn't have to go diving in this one.
That was nice.
Yeah. Diving, I'm glad that's gone.
Me too. I didn't miss not having to swim, really.
I know when I replay it for my channel, I am not doing the diving unless forced to.
You will be forced to at least once, but...
The harpooning is
also
fun in this, too.
Yeah, I mean, that was another... It had an extra challenge to it because of the ice.
Mm-hmm. It was nice. It was a nice change of pace. They found ways to make this game feel different, even though it's very much we're going to take the same model that we already have from 4 and make another game.
Yeah.
So
it was also nice seeing New York not burned to the ground.
That was nice.
Texas burned to the ground because of the fire. So
I did appreciate that we got to actually play in New York this time where we didn't get to in a previous game. So that was nice.
No running in tunnels underneath New York, mind you, but definitely.
I did not miss that. Oh, and then that one part with Benjamin Franklin early in this game where he's standing by the sign, join or die. The funny thing is I actually know now that sign is that picture, the join or die with the snake, is if you go to Boston, it's still a thing you can find that they will sell you little souvenirs of with it on there.
Yeah.
Of course they will.
Because when I was in Boston and we went, I think it was Quincy Market, there was this little store, you went into the basement of that place and it was all full of little things from that. And I remember seeing, I'm like, I don't know what this is. And I know history decently. And I remember texting my friend Carrie, on the show quite often. And he's like, yeah, it's from this. And it was just so when I saw it, it made me smile because I understood it.
No,
His Join or Die was the first thing that when they were trying to get the Revolutionary War started to get people
well,
out
it
of
was, talked about
British.
that in, when we talked about 3.
In 3, yeah. But it made me, I like seeing it again.
Yeah.
I also do like the stuff where midway through this game, it cuts to the thing that we kind of already talked about, the ending where he's in France. It's like you have to kind of unlock that by playing through the whole game. You're then able to get the France part. The France part is good. That his whole ending was he was trying to go get the box finally because Hatham told him to. And I was thinking, I'm pretty sure Hatham might be already dead by the time he gets that box.
Maybe.
Well,
I didn't
the time
check the year.
he gets the box, it's 1776. Like that's when Charles Dorian dies.
Okay, but when is AC3 when you kill Hatham? Isn't that it's got to be around that time?
That's
no,
after.
It's at least it's a few. It has to be a few years, at least 2 or 3 years after. I'm trying to remember when the whole Valley Forge thing happened.
1781 is when Connor kills Hatham. Okay, so yeah, it's still a few years. Okay, I wasn't sure because I was thinking about like the traveling that he must have did to get there and to get back from France. Well, I guess it wouldn't be that long, maybe months, not years. It's not like he's got to travel by foot.
Yeah,
he's just gonna sail. Never mind.
Right. And if you got the Morgan fully tricked out, like I pretty much did, you're going. You got some speed.
Yeah.
They did have fast ships. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. He would have came back.
Yeah. So
I feel like Shay should have been an AC3 as someone you killed, but then again, he wasn't invented yet, so.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, he could have even, quote, somewhat retired from it. I mean, the place where he was residing had to be occupied later by the Assassins or been taken over during the whole war. Couldn't be used at least anymore.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And who knows, maybe by this time he also had aged enough.
He's just kind of done.
And maybe saw not both sides are totally innocent.
No, I mean, you can't have a side called the Assassins who murder people and be like, they're innocent.
I mean, names don't really have anything to do with anything. Like, they both...
What about the part where you take a blade and shove it in somebody's neck?
Well, yeah, that happens, but to think the Templars don't kill people is...
Oh, no, Templars are bad, too.
Yeah.
They're both bad.
The Assassins are, well, I still like it, as Ezio puts it, we work in the shadows to serve the light.
Except when you're taking out Lisman, but, whatever.
It did come from, if you know the history of the term, it came from, I just looked up, like, the assassin, and it came from a member of the Nizari branch of Ismaili Muslims at the time of the Crusades, when the newly established sect part of the northern Persia. They were renowned as militant fanatics and were popularly reported to use hashish before going on murder missions, which was a drug of some sort. That's how the term assassin came about. Hashishen.
And taking drugs before you murder people is not a new thing in history. So it's how you invade Poland really quick in the 1940s. Take a lot of meth. That's how they fought for 3 days straight without sleeping. They were all high on meth.
Yeah, it would make sense.
I love that story when I found that out. It was cool to me when I first discovered that. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but let's face it, any more and more we learn things, we want to think that we're all high and mighty, but that's why you have Black Ops. That's why you have your Wetworks teams. They do the shit that you don't want to admit to. They are the people that if you get caught, we will disavow any knowledge of you.
I also feel like Shay's story ends well in this game. Like we talk about the French thing, how he gets the box, and then even that part before that where with Hatham he spares Achilles' life, but then Hatham shoots him in the leg, so Achilles can never get back in power again, essentially, or be a threat.
Shay convinces Hatham not.
I like that.
Kill him.
I like that Shay doesn't want him to just kill Achilles because Hatham was just going to kill him and be done with it, which thankfully he didn't, or AC3 couldn't. It would have been a time paradox.
And let's face it, towards the end, Achilles realized what Shay was saying, and that Shay was right. These aren't the, quote, pieces of eating we're looking for, but by disturbing them, we're causing more harm than good.
Yeah, they didn't listen.
And it makes sense, though, to have an assassin still survive and live to tell the tale to the assassins groups about these things.
No, it does, because otherwise they would have kept searching for it, and the problem wouldn't have been fixed. You wouldn't have stopped it, because somebody else would have picked up the pieces.
No, not only that. You've got both sides who want to get this stuff. And then when you see the utter devastation just trying to take one of these things causes, let's face it, neither side wants that. Neither side would want that. Maybe as a use for controlling an area. I mean,
or destroying an area that your enemy is at. You could blow everybody up.
There's too many assassins here. Fuck off.
But then again, because each side also would know about it, no one would dare use it. Mutually, it would be mutually assured destruction.
How many nukes are currently sitting around in the world right now?
Let's not talk about that right now. But
us humans don't learn lessons. We're okay with mutually destroyed destruction, apparently. So, but that
it's the agreed way. I mean, let's face. This is what keeps nuclear. This is some of the things that keeps nuclear war from happening. We have leaders that actually use their brains. And let's face it, if you have one assassin to be able to relay this information to other assassins, it's be like, oh, it's one of those places. Okay. Mark it down. Let's get out of here. That kind of thing. But what the Templars know about these things too. I mean, it was be like, and I'm going off on a little weird tangent here. How do you think Clayface would deal if he was put in either the Assassins or the Templars? A person who can change their identity just by controlling what they look like on a molecular level.
I'd have to think that Clayface would hate both of them and screw them both over.
Yeah, but imagine if your enemy has such an ability, be in a shit panic.
You start killing everybody, yeah.
And at the same time, it's like, if we kill them and it's not them, we've killed an innocent. I mean, let's face it, Clayface could take a stabbing and pretend to die, but he's not dead.
I do like Clayface a lot.
Yeah, so let's just say, I mean, like, this is an ultimate weapon, but cost is too high.
I guess.
We should talk about the modern day stuff. We kind of glanced on it a little bit, but that's the next thing that we definitely should mention. I like the modern day in this. It's okay. I mean, it's kind of a continuation of what you did in 4, where you're an employee at evil Google, Abstergo, but this time you're working with 2 very shady characters that you find out are Templars, and it's strange.
It really does show more of what's going on under the scenes, or behind the scenes.
Yeah, and how do you feel about this present day stuff?
Like, I'm all right with it. I'm fine with it. At least they got somebody with some personality here this time, though. Like, Otso Berg is he's got some personality. Numbskull, I mean, no, it's just the faceless, voiceless character that you are. Nobody really cares about that. But at least Berg is interesting. And his story continues after this in comic books.
Oh.
I was wondering about that, because I know there's a lot. I actually want to read the comics at some point once we finish the rest of the series. Once I run out of games, I'll probably turn to the comics.
That will probably happen, folks, in about 2028.
You might not be wrong, but
or whenever Ubisoft stops making Assassin's Creed games.
They slowed down, and there's a lot of other issues with that. But Ken, have you read any of the comics?
No.
Oh.
I read the Ezio novels, but I've never read any of the comic books. And I was doing research like Gadoo, and that's where I found out that Berg's story is continued.
That's cool.
So I was like, oh, okay, interesting.
I'm working on the first Ezio novel right now.
Yeah, those are pretty good. You see many ads for them in the modern day stuff.
I don't mind that. I'm fine with that.
No, I don't mind it either. I just think it's funny.
That is funny.
I think I'll have to use some tax refund money to get the second and third book at least.
I bet they're good. I mean, I am very curious about the comics. I know a lot of the modern day stuff is continued in the comics, where they don't continue it in the games anymore. And there's some good stuff there to read, I've heard. I'm part of a lot of Assassin's Creed groups, as you will hear about shortly, actually. So
yeah,
I see posts.
I was just looking at the Overblood post this morning. So, know what to expect there.
He's a colorful character, though. But he's someone you could. I'm glad they made use of him, because they put effort in to make this character look like a character that is going to be important, or at least memorable, because he's not just a blank slate.
Yeah,
he's a killer of assassins.
All the stuff that you find, you sort of get background into his character.
Oh yeah, because you can hack different computers, which I hate the hacking minigame in this, so I didn't bother. But you get
I love
information.
Oh yeah, that was the one where you have to light up the sections of the sphere.
Yeah, that one's fun.
I don't like puzzles that
a little
much.
tricky. Yeah, that was a bit of a fun one.
I did a couple, but then I just stopped. I didn't care. I was running out of time.
But I mean, at least in this one, you know more of what's that. Well, you sort of got the feel in the previous one that not everybody of Abstergo is a Templar.
Oh, some are just employees. Well, at least of Abstergo Entertainment, some are just employees who just work there.
Yeah,
It's not like Abstergo in when you looked at Assassin's Creed 1 through 3, where it's a different branch of it, where I think they were more aware of who exactly they were, because they're kidnapping people and, torturing them. Like, this is a different type of...
Yeah.
This is a way to make money.
It's a great cover for the operation.
And make propaganda. I mean, liberation is propaganda, essentially. Like, this... Even in this, like, the end of this, where he takes... where you take what you happen with Shay and where Shay becomes a Templar and you send it to all the assassins to go, hey, look, one of you guys became a Templar all these years ago. Fuck you. Like, that's propaganda.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't think the assassins already knew about Shay.
You'd be surprised how many people, like, how many times you can just lose things throughout generations.
This is true.
Especially if it's not something you want to talk about. Eventually people are going to stop talking about it, and then you lose it completely because there's nobody else to tell that story.
No, that's
the Jedi disappeared after 15 years,
despite a billion of them somehow still being alive, apparently, if video games are to believe.
Yes, I just love that with Han Solo's like, the Jedi, that's real, like, buddy, and then everything else you see, like, how'd you not know? Like,
yeah, like it's what things do tend to disappear unless you learn the history and all that.
So it doesn't surprise me, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's why some people are stupid and build on former cemeteries and that. But it also does make some sense. I mean, yeah, we could forget about it. And that's a fair point. I mean, that was a bit of a surprise to play as Hatham and then discover, oh, he was a Templar.
Yeah, and then his dad was a pirate who was also an assassin. And then it just keeps going and going and going. We got a little sneaky here too. We're going to do a flipsy with Shay, and Shay's going to kill this dude who's an assassin, but then his son is going to be raised by Templars, and it's a whole thing.
It also does work in with the whole Juno Isu thing.
Yeah, they don't do that in this at all.
Collect things, you get...
Oh, okay. I didn't collect that much stuff.
And they do mention that they are... Berg does mention that they are aware of this Juno thing and this faction they didn't know about. But it's like if you use it, and even in some of the stuff, he does comment that at times the Assassins and the Templars can work together, although they may not know they're doing it, which has been also used in other fiction, where two sides that might be at odds with one another work together on a common goal.
That whole enemy of my enemy is my friend, or enemy of my enemy is my frenemy? Enemend?
Thank you.
What was that?
Dick Tracy joke.
Yes. I had to bring that one back. I'm too proud of it to stop.
I wished I watched that with you guys. I mean, I haven't seen it in years, but that was a beautifully done movie.
It is a beautifully done movie. I will say that.
They worked real hard to make sure there was no ad placement in the movie.
My opinion of that movie is not... Yeah, go listen to the episode.
I will.
All right, anything else we should say about Rogue, or should we go to questions, comments, and memories?
I think it's time for some memories.
Yes.
I got a few. I wasn't sure. I never know with certain games, like, because this game is... I feel like maybe not as beloved as some in the series. I don't know. But from I walked the entire Overload Super Replay. I got two. First from Nate McKellen, friend of the show. Got this for Black Friday in whatever year it came out and enjoyed the hell out of it. And from Lucas Harris, I enjoyed it. It felt like the perfect bridge between Black Flag and Unity. Not my favorite in the series, but still a good game. 8 out of 10. I said this is one of my favorites. I do believe that this is one of my favorites. So, from Assassin's Creed lovers, from Nikki W., I have replayed this game more times than I played all the other games in the series combined. Damn, that's impressive. Why? I don't know why, but that's still impressive. Like,
it's impressive, but you're not going to get bored. Like, even the later games can get kind of boring and oppressive. This has the sweet spot of not having a super long campaign and still having a ton of crap to do.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, there is a lot of crap to do in this game if you want it. And you don't have to, which I found out too, which is nice.
Although I must admit now, I come to think of it, I mean, I enjoyed most things. The hardest, I think, was the interception stuff, because you have to slowly walk up on the pigeon. Slowly.
I didn't do a single one of those puzzles.
Oh, those are fun.
They're not
Yeah,
puzzles,
once you
but
get
events.
past once you catch the pigeon, yeah, they're fun. Although
Yeah,
if you
like-
fail, you have to recatch the pigeon.
You just gotta go slow. It's like, I don't remember. There was some video game mechanic that very similar to.
I mean, you can also catch pigeons in a different game that I'm playing, but you have to swing really fast and then hit L1 and R1 to grab the pigeon with your web. But that's a different game.
Ah,
If that's what you're referring to, I don't know. But that's the only other game I know of catching pigeons. So
no, it's another game where you gotta slowly creep up on things to catch them.
okay. Hey, in Sneak King, you got to sneak by people. Does that count?
Hell
Only if
yeah.
people. That stupid
Sneak
game.
King. Love it.
And then from Jason Bennett, I hated that Shay hunting down his brothers and sisters of the Creed. From Chris Sparter, I thoroughly enjoyed the sea battles in AC Odyssey. I don't like that. I've just found out there's more sea stuff. Makes sense, but
It's not as bad as you think it is, I promise.
okay. From Caleb Kreider, I love the cinematic chases of running through the falling buildings. Yeah, that was cool.
Brought me back to other games that I played with such similar scenes.
That whole
From-
Lisbon scene was brutal.
Yeah, that was. Did Lisbon actually, like, that's a real thing, right? That Lisbon falls?
I know it existed. I don't know anything.
Let's see, Earthquake in Lisbon.
I feel like they try to get as much, you know,
Yes.
like real. Oh, yeah, 1755. Yep.
Yep.
I like how they do that. That they take real life events and the other earthquake they talk about in Jamaica. There was one 1692. So okay, cool. I like how they do that stuff. Wait, 1692 doesn't feel like did that line up?
No,
with
that
it?
wouldn't
No,
be
that's
right. So,
no, that's a few too many years.
but there probably was. Yes. Well, there was Jamaica. Well,
Port Royal is the city that you're in, right? In Freedom Cry.
yeah, but I'm just looking it up, and Jamaica experienced a significant earthquake due to the Great Lisbon earthquake.
Oh,
Fascinating.
Yeah.
History, baby.
all right. And from Gas Taylor, it's the only one I've not played. I feel I should rectify this.
Rectify it.
You should.
Please.
From Oliver Freddie Terry, great game. Shame it came out same day as Unity and on the older system. Such a good, underrated game.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what killed it. Well, not
Yeah,
killed
that
it,
probably
but
hurt it a lot. And also, Unity was broken as hell, right, when it came out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I've never played it, but I've seen the GIFs and I remember people like just bitching, and I saw weird shit where people were flying.
and you
Yeah, it
gotta
was-
think about other things too. I mean, well, they even say like I was one of the since we've been doing this, I catch the occasional Assassin's Creed top 10 list or something on Watch Mojo or Mojo Plays, and they talk about the characters. And when it comes to all the leads in these games, Shay sort of ranks dead bottom because he's not as powerful as the other characters.
Nah, I don't buy that for a second.
I like Shay a lot.
Oh, I must admit, it was fun trying to dodge assassins when you're playing as Shay. You hear the whispers like,
Yeah, that was cool. All right, and then from the last group I have, Assassin's Creed group, from Damian McLaughlin. Really enjoyed this one, as it does tie in a few other games in the series. 3, 4, Freedom Cry. I think Unity too, right? Because Arno is somebody important, so.
well, we haven't played Unity yet, so.
No, but I know who Arno is. Rob Brooks, a great game. From Rob Robinson, my favorite of the 2 Seafarers. They really should have made 3. On land, I actually enjoyed hunting and being hunted by the other assassins.
Mhm.
It was a cool concept. It annoyed me, but it was a cool concept.
Oh my god, they just jumped out all the time.
Mm-hmm. The
Annoying
whispering
little
was good, though.
Yeah, I mean,
That was a good creepy aspect.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, you start hearing the whisper, like, okay, eagle vision, look around, look around, look around.
Mhm.
Ah, there they are. I think I got up on a rooftop and one they're in the well. So I'm like, gun, bang! They die in the well.
And from Brandon Smith, Black Flag will always be my favorite, but this is a close second. From Hans Willem, amazing game. Ubisoft isn't making them like that anymore. Up to Odyssey, I had a lot of fun. Valhalla was good, but had a few annoying parts. Mirage wasn't going back to the root because AC was never a forced stealth game. Hope they don't fuck Shadows up, but we will find that out shortly.
Yeah, we will.
We will, real shortly. When is this releasing?
Next week.
This will release probably before Shadows comes out.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
we are on the eve of Shadows coming out.
This comes out the 16th.
Yep, that's 4 days before Shadows. So
Yeah.
Cool. I wonder if I'll get any type of. I won't, but that'd be cool if I get some kind of like, people watch this or listen to this because of Shadows coming out, but I highly doubt it will happen.
Yeah, I was talking with two guys at GameStop and says, yeah, it's probably going to go on sale within a year.
It's Ubisoft. It's going to go on sale within a year anyway. Like, it's Ubisoft. Like, that's what they do.
I already got my copy pre-ordered.
I mean, if you're going to play a game when it comes out, it makes sense. It's just if you're someone like me who plays games, 10 years later, it doesn't make sense. But that's
depending on the game. I like to play. I'll play it as soon as it comes out.
Even before this podcast, I only bought 3 or 4 games for full price because even back then I was still playing games that were older. Like, it's just who I am as a gamer. I've been that type of gamer for probably over 20 years. Like, it's just what I like to do. I like to go back and play old games. I don't care about the stuff that just comes out usually.
I'm looking forward to that's going to be a busy week. I'm looking forward to a different type of assassin characters that week. T-1000 comes to Mortal Kombat 1.
All right, and I got 2 more comments to read from Nicholas Sarsby. Story is short, and you do spend a lot of time doing collections, and the fact you end up with a ton of money and nothing to spend it on, but it's still a great game for what it is. Yeah, because if you don't have the resources to upgrade buildings, you can't upgrade the buildings, and you can't buy resources, unfortunately. That's fair. And from George LeBlanc, in my opinion, this was the last really fun game until Origins.
That may all depend. I mean, I'm looking forward to something in Syndicate.
I'm looking forward to both of them, very much so. Unity and Syndicate, I am very excited for, which will be this year.
That was actually something I also said with the people at GameStop about. It's like, yeah, there's a real-life haunted location in that one. Guy knew what I was talking about right away. He just couldn't remember the exact location.
I am very excited for both of those. All right, and then I have a code to give away. Let me see what's next in my list.
To whomever got the Dark Side Detective one, that's a very good game, and I hope you're enjoying it.
All right, the code is this is Steam code for Little Nightmares.
Good
game. The code is 6FJD8LAPRV. That is your code for Little Nightmare.
And if this does not come with the DLC included, I recommend you just buy it. If they still offer the quote season pass, you buy it that way. You get a better deal, and they're fun to play too.
All right, so a few codes to give away, so that'll be nice. All right, let's go to Shelf Stacker Box. And Richard, why don't you lead us in?
Oh, this is, again, definitely going on the shelf. I enjoyed this one entirely. I mean, with all the extra stuff that you had to do in it, it was you were never bored with this. And even if you have to go sailing, you still got your sea shanties.
That was nice. They were back.
And I also liked raiding the supply camps from time to time. That just made it more fun.
And the homestead.
And can't forget being able to kill the Headless Horseman.
Wait, that's in this?
Fun. Yes! You actually do go to Sleepy Hollow, and if you, at the right time, he will come and attack you. And to defeat him, you just have to shoot the right pumpkin.
Oh, cool. I did not find that. All right.
I shared that, and I shared a picture of that in the chat.
Yeah, you did, but I forgot. But I think that was before my sickness where I was dying. Or during, I don't remember. But okay. And Kenneth.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I'm not going to... This is going on the shelf. This is, to this point, my favorite Assassin's Creed.
Right.
I'm very, very pleased with it. Playing it again, I know I kind of like, oh, is he going to like it at the beginning? No, I don't like it. I love it. This is still my favorite. I'm still having a blast. It's fun to play as the Templars. And honestly, the Assassins don't come out looking too good after this one. So,
no, they don't.
I like the story. I like showing that, the Assassins aren't just always the good guys. They're fallible too. And I think that came at a time when that kind of story narrative was necessary for this series.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's like I say when I play Dead by Daylight. Sometimes to become a good survivor, you got to play killer for a while, and sometimes to become a good killer player, you have to play survivor for a while. Learn how the other side thinks.
All right, I'll go last. I'm going to put this in the shelf also. As I said in my comment to people, this is still one of my favorite Assassin's Creed. I really like this game. I was just unfortunately very rushed, but I still had a great time. I would have done more had I not been rushed, but it was a lot of fun. I got a lot of this game, though. I did get to do a lot. It's just a really good game. It's not too long. It makes the sailing fun for the first time for me. Like, doesn't make me do a lot of ship combat, but I am so happy that we finally get to say goodbye to sailing.
For now.
And we can move on. That does make me happy because I am so excited for Unity to play that later this year. Yeah, so you will hear Unity later this year. Hopefully I'm going to be doing the Tyranny of Washington soon, just to wrap up 3, just to wrap up the last thing from this era that we haven't done. That's on the 360, not counting the DS games and PSP game I still need to get to. But so you might hear that. You should hear that before Unity. Hopefully, that's my plan. So that'll be coming. I should hear what we're talking about next week. Next week you can hear us talk about Spider-Man 2018.
Where he catches more pigeons.
Yes, you do. Well, I only caught 2, and then I'm done probably in pigeons. But yeah, you'll hear about that.
It would take you forever to catch every pigeon in New York.
And that game is only 12 you have to catch because you're just catching it for a friend. And Richard, where can people find you at?
You can always find me on my YouTube channel, which is Rich Kale, where I'm working through various games and franchises that videos premiere, sometimes 2 a day, sometimes 1 a day. Got stuff that I'm going through in a 2-week cycle, which at this time includes, you got the Tomb Raider Legend Anniversary Underworld Timeline. And I'm also working through Assassin's Creed on the channel, BioShock. Also working through like stuff that premieres in the mornings, like games of Dead by Daylight. And a lot of Final Fantasy games, too. And you can find my fix up at, Comic Vine, fanfiction.net, Archive of Our Own. And I do some readings of some of my stories, too, that premiere. And again, I've been so busy, I haven't gotten the one finished yet. I got the one posted yet. Hopefully it's posted by the time this premieres.
All right. If you enjoyed this episode, over 750 other episodes of this podcast, you can find everything we do on Podbean. We do movies, comics, TV shows. Also, the show hit 200,000 downloads. So thank you, everyone who listens to the show and takes time to check out our episodes. If you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon, a little darling vote in our Patreon poll. You will see a link in the show notes. We have 1 to 2 polls a month, currently 2 polls a month. Definitely go check out the show. And if you want to be on the show, if you want to chat with us, if you want to lurk, if you want to suggest things, join the Discord. It's free. You'll see a link to the Discord in the show notes. So I'm always happy when new people join us and chat with us. And want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Elena at Hell Has Fear. Follow her on TikTok and Instagram. And definitely go check out Gamer Looks at 40 of Bill Tucker. He's still talking Final Fantasy, but definitely go check out his show. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, audio only. Rate and views wherever you get your podcast. And that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
So long.